Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today is Throwback Thursday. So we're going to go way back, and I'm going to show you an album that I finished back in 2008. Okay, so this album is an album from a trip that my husband and I took to Toronto in 2006. And the reason I chose this album today for an album share is because we've been talking about photo organization, and printing the photos for this album is what made me realize that I really needed to take a step back and reevaluate how I was going to store, print, and scrapbook my photos, because this was the first trip we'd taken out with a digital camera. And when I printed all the pictures, just like I had in the past, you take your film to the store and you print your photos. I did the same thing with this. I took my SD card to the store. I printed all the photos from the whole trip. And it was way too many photos, first of all, to tell the stories I wanted to tell. But at the time, that's just what we did. And so this is kind of what started the whole, let's get the photos on the computer organized in a way that I want to scrapbook, and let's start a to-print folder so that I'm only printing the photos that I actually want. Okay. So here's the intro page. It's basically just patterned paper, and I think these were like little skinny paper letters that I got from Michaels in like a alphabet container, and they were like a tear sheet. So like you tear the top O off, and then you'd have like a stack more of O's, kind of like Post-it notes, I guess. I don't know if you guys ever had those. Probably didn't need my brother's address in there, but he doesn't live there anymore, so don't go looking for him there. This was my brother's place at the time where we stayed, and it was so different and so unique to what we do on the prairies that I made sure to include it in my album. But it's just basic, like these are metal letters. This is a rub-on. These are letter stickers. I put some paper clips on there. I thought those were pretty fancy at the time. And then my journaling for each photo, and about how my husband couldn't even stand up in all parts of the apartment because it was built so long ago that it didn't accommodate he's 6'3". So not a giant by any stretch of the imagination, but not a short person like the rest of my family. So then I just used the memorabilia for my title. And if you ever wanted to like reach in and pull it out and read it, you could. And didn't put much else in the way of journaling because I felt like it was all explained in the brochure. I did put some journaling on these ones because there was some personal stories from it of where my brother did a play and that sort of thing. Things that were relevant to us, like in Sir Henry's study, there was a painting from the Calgary Stampede. He had taken the train out there and brought that painting back. So that was interesting to see a little piece of Alberta in this historical home. More of Casa Loma. Like I said, I literally printed all of the pictures and scrapbooked them. And that's how I realized that I really needed to change that up. So this one is more of those Sizzlits alphas. Say that 3 times fast. And then just some paint behind it, a little bit of mixed media starting there, some brads, painted chipboard, quick cuts die. It's a little bit of different. This was a class I took on how to use, like it was when we used to get die cuts in those punched sheets. So you get like a sheet of die cuts, a 12 by 12 sheet of die cuts, and then you'd punch them out. So it had like borders and tags, more tags, and then like things like this, swirl, circle. So these are photo turns, but we made a flower out of it. And it was just on how to like take one of those sheets and make a whole layout with the sheet and a bit of patterned paper. And I really liked it because I learned a lot in that class, actually. This was another class, I think, just from the local scrapbook store. We got some paper flowers happening on there. I don't know if you guys still have those. There's a little charm up here. Let me just stop it from looking like it's attacking the castle. The gardens at Casa Loma are beautiful. And here's a little bit of a fancy thing where I kind of fussy cut around the tops of the flowers and then just moved the paper up and cut off the top. We got some raw chipboard buttons and some chalk on top to make them look fancy. Some more Sizzix Sizzlits alphas. Lots of brads on this one. Lots and lots and lots of brads. This one's just basically cardstock. A cardstock cut title. I think that might have been the old Cricut I used for that. And then, yeah, and then photos. But look at all the photos. I literally printed every single photo. So then some metal alphas got on there. And then just patterned paper on cardstock. Another patterned paper on cardstock with some doodling, very fancy. Some memorabilia in there and more of that Sizzix Sizzlits alpha. Very basic journaling. I think this one, I don't know. It's kind of fancy. I feel like maybe it was a class because I don't know if I was that creative back then, but you know, cutting out circles. And then look, this is fancy for me. I don't know. See, I must have come up with this on my own or saw it in a magazine. I bet you that's what it was. I probably saw it in a magazine and copied it because this is like word art. And then I punched a circle in the middle, but I wouldn't have had the kind of circle punch that would have punched that far in to miss that. So I would have had to cut that out somehow. Fancy. Look at me go. And then here I printed off the internet, the J's symbol, and here too, and here too, and then just some baseball stickers and whatnot and some more memorabilia. And here we've got more printing of the Blue Jays stuff. And just like to make it specific to the Jays. And then here, this also was a class on circles. So yes, I think that other one was the same class. And that's where I bought my circle cutter because I fell in love with using circles on my pages. This is just patterned paper and cardstock again with a little bit of bling added. This one is another quick cuts, or no, Sizzix Sizzlits, what do you call it? Die alpha. And then some metal alphas, some brads, some paper flowers. And then the pamphlet is tucked in here. You just have to pull the sheet out. And this one is just patterned paper, some ribbon, some floss, some, you know, paper clips. Nothing fancy. Ooh, look at this fancy border. I probably cut that on the Cricut too, on the 6x12 smaller version of the Cricut. Rainforest Cafe. Some stickers, probably Mrs. Grossman stickers. Big chipboard R. This would have been a printed from the internet and fussy cut title. This is another couple of Sizzix Sizzlits alphas. This was part of that circle class as well. This is just photo blocking. So taking 4x or 6x6 squares and making color blocks. Sorry, not photo blocking, color blocking. And then, yeah, laying my pictures down on top. This is also printed. Actually, I think, is it? Yeah, it's cardstock. So I printed that off the internet as well. And then there's some memorabilia. Some Mrs. Grossman's or maybe Stickopotamus maybe stickers. These are sticker letters. Again, with the circles, this must have been after I bought my circle cutter because it's just cardstock. Was very fascinated by the Wax Museum. I've never been to one before. Took all the photos. Stamped title, very fancy. And memorabilia, very basic layout. This one is Chatterbox. Remember those? So it's like pre-stitched here. Here's the fascinator that I use, that giant stapler thing. Some stickers. This one is just some patterned paper, cardstock, again with the circles. These are more of those peel and tear alphas that I had. And ribbon. These are actually, I couldn't, of course, take photos in the theater, so these are from the, what do you call it, like program. So this is Mark's uncle in a show, so I wanted to make sure I got him on there. And I think this was a kit, page kit that I got from somewhere. I want to say Monday Night Class. It was a thing back then. So, and then this one, this is more of those peel and stick letters, but I didn't like the way the black showed up on top of the blue, so I just traced it with a white pen marker at the time, and then made my own little embellishment there. And then lots and lots of photos, no patterned paper on this one. Some ribbon with the fascinator, again with just the cardstock and computer printing. Cardstock and computer printing, and these have some chipboard, painted chipboard pieces. Let's see, these are supposed to be photo corners, but I turned them into embellishments here. And paper tearing, so there is patterned paper on top of cardstock, some ribbon and some, I don't know what those are called, ribbon slides maybe, they slide onto your ribbon. Another stamped title, some more ribbon with a chipboard piece painted, patterned paper, more ribbon, some more of these metal tags, but I painted them and then wrote on them. Letter stickers. These are what looks like stitching is actually stickers. I printed, okay, so here's how fancy I was. So this was the program from this play that I went to see. My brother was in the play. And I printed I don't know how to say it. I scanned the cover of it into the computer, and then I printed it on a transparency and then put brads to hold it on top of the inside part that had like my brother's name and his tribute to his family inside, so that you could see the cover and like what the show was, but you could also see like his name and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I felt like that was super fancy at the time. And then some chipboard pieces, and these must have been, I don't know where I would get those arrows from. They look like just cardstock, so maybe from the Cricut. This was also a class, stamping with Versamark ink, paper tearing, making this little envelope. This would have been a Cricut title. Some more of this. Oh my gosh, I have a ton of this. I need to find uses for this. This is, oh no, this is not. I was thinking this is Coordinations cardstock, but this is just, I think, Close to My Heart or something cardstock that has the white core in the center. Tearing on some photos too. This one is, oh, I had a whole pad of these. These were like cardstock paper pads that had like scallops along all four borders. More of those paper flowers, a big brad in the middle. More of these Sizzlits die letters, alphas. More painted chipboard, cardstock. And then another chipboard piece painted. Look at me getting fancy with the patterned paper. It's double-sided, so I folded it over so you could see both sides. So that's it for this album share. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click that like button, give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, it would make my day to have you as a subscriber. Just click the subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when a new video goes up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone.